Being told we're no longer wanted in business or in life can create a negative energy that follows us wherever we go. But let's have ourselves a pocket sized pep talk because there is a solution, and I'll tell you exactly what it is.
A pocket-sized pep talk, the podcast that can help energize your business and your life with a quick, inspiring message. Now, here's your host, Rob Jollis.
In business, as well as in life, there are certain cycles most of us go through. There's the thrill of being hired for a new job, the joy of being wanted and appreciated. But part of the cycle is breaking up and moving from one job to another. Gone are the days when that first job ended with a 50-year celebration and a gold watch. Much like the end of a marriage, sometimes these breakups are easy and sometimes they're not. And every now and then, they're downright cruel. This cruelty can create a hole in our hearts, and even worse, it can leave us bitter and confused. When we've been treated unfairly and we've been asked to leave, it's crushing and painful. These breakups often stem from intense, dysfunctional relationships, and it's not easy to move on after something like that. But the worst part of all is what happens next. We carry this confusion, pain, and anger with us. Before long, it infects our spirit, makes us cynical, and impedes our happiness. Even if you haven't lived through this, you've certainly seen it. When someone's going through a breakup, any conversation you have with that individual will eventually take you to the sadness and darkness that he or she is feeling. One story leads to another and another, and each one will bring with it a deeper level of rage. This is not something I hypothesize about or viewed only through the eyes of others. Decades ago, I went through my own breakup from a manager who simply was not a good person. Enough said. I too was held hostage by my own anger and feelings. I was never aware of the power this anger held over me until someone would innocently ask me about the person who damaged me so deeply. No matter how free I thought I was, I'd be right back to square one, furious and depressed. Part of the scars we carry are self-inflicted because our inability to move past this pain holds us back. It can throw us in a free fall of despair and pity, and even worse, it can keep us from moving to the next place we're meant to be. I can confidently tell you that there is a way out. There are two things that you must do, and if you do them, you will be free. To begin with, you must put away the victim card and ask yourself this question. What could I have done differently to have avoided this situation? Yes, you've been wronged. And yes, you have a right to be angry. But no matter how you spin it, there is no scenario that places the full blame of a breakup squarely on only one person's shoulders. There's a lesson to be learned. And if you learn it, you not only take the first step to healing, you'll be rewarded by never making that mistake again. It's not unusual for people, particularly for those who've gone through a recent breakup, to struggle with this step. In those cases, I recommend adding a small filter to the question. Permit me to add that filter and ask the question again. Assuming you're 90% correct and without fault, what would be the 10% that you can take responsibility for? When you're able to answer this question, you will turn this misery into an opportunity to evolve. You'll feel an immediate weight lifted from your shoulders. You can and will move past this chapter in your life, but not without taking the first steps necessary to remove this burden. You'll need to accept a certain level of responsibility, and in doing so, you'll not only learn something about who you are, but you'll be able to share this hard-earned lesson with others. Okay, we're halfway there. Now, I have an easier assignment, one that requires a different form of discipline. But you got to commit to it. I'm asking, no, begging you to consider the simplicity of the request I'm making very carefully. 3 words. Let it go. If I thought holding on to your anger would somehow magically punish those who inflicted this pain and make the ache go away, I'd tell you to hold on to it for all it's worth. But it doesn't. Let it go. Trust me when I say no one really cares or wants to hear the stories. Those that care about you want to hear about your recovery. Let it go. Each time you tell the stories, you force yourself to relive the pain of the past. You also continue to give the power to the entity that created this pain. Let it go. You've learned the lessons that came from this event. You're not a victim, and you've accepted your share of the responsibility. You don't need to study it or recite your stories to anyone, including yourself, ever again. Let it go. It's time to focus on the future. Let go of the past. Think how extraordinary it would be to hear someone who's going through a personal or business breakup say, it was a difficult experience, and many things that happened were not particularly nice. But some of the responsibility fell on my shoulders as well. I've learned from this experience, and I've moved on. When you hear someone say that, you're not hearing the voice of a victim. You're hearing the voice of a healthy human being who's evolved and is prepared for the next steps that life has in store. You're not a prisoner of the past. No matter how abusive the situation you're coming from may be, no matter how battered you may feel, learning from your mistakes and letting go of your anger will set you free. As for those who have wronged us, I've always been a fan of a saying from the Grapes of Wrath, spoken by one-time preacher Jim Casey. Maybe there ain't no sin, and there ain't no virtue. They's just what people does. Some things folks do is nice, and some ain't so nice. And that's all a man's got a right to say. My friends, learn, evolve, and let it go.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate and recommend it on iTunes, Outcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information on this show and Rob at jollis.com.